Welcome to part 4 of the Family Progress Data instructional video on how to complete the individual data at the start of the intervention. Similar to the family data, this video provides further information on what data is required for each member of the family. As you can see, when going into the individual data tab, the intervention start date has pre-populated from the information entered on the family data tab. Also, on selecting the drop-down arrow, you will see all family members that were entered in the first instructional video on how to create the family. When getting started, the family member needs to be selected from the drop-down list. For this example, we will start with Sarah. If you're completing this for the first time, a pop-up box will appear confirming no previous data has been entered, at which point you press OK and begin to input the data. At the top, there are several tabs for each of the indicators required for each member of the family, so we can begin to work our way through. Similarly to the family data, there is a tick box which can be selected if the indicator is not applicable for the individual. Also, the date range and number columns are used for the individual data, and advice is given for each indicator. The first indicator is antisocial behaviour with further action. This relates to incidents whereby remedial action or behaviour sanctions were put in place. For example, further action would indicate the incident has been logged and a follow-up visit ensued. Antisocial behaviour includes arguments, drug activity, violence or graffiti. Further examples are also available in the advice box. For Sarah, there was some reported antisocial behaviour prior to the intervention starting. This would therefore be recorded within the date range July 2015 to September 2015, and there were 3 incidents. The next tab is antisocial behaviour with no further action. This relates to the same types of incidents mentioned previously, but where no further remedial action was necessary. For Sarah, there was no antisocial behaviour with no further action, therefore we can tick that it was not applicable. The next indicator is domestic abuse and violence. This relates to incidents as both a victim and a perpetrator. We appreciate that domestic violence and abuse is a sensitive matter, but for the data it is both reported or worker-assessed instances. Therefore, if you're unsure, if you don't feel confident about the incidents, then please mark as not applicable. Domestic violence has been an issue for this family for many years and often coincides with the parents drinking. For this family, there were 3 reported domestic violence incidents between July and September of 2015. This would be recorded as shown on screen. The next tab along is the number of police call-outs. It is possible that this information is something that you do not know. Therefore, if it is expected that the police have been called, you can discuss this with the family or other members of the team around the family. The police were called out to the home to respond to the reports of domestic violence. Therefore, between July and September, there were 3 police call-outs. The next tab is for alcohol misuse and refers to the number of months whereby alcohol has been misused, impacting on family functioning. As shown in the advice box, it indicates how you would show that an individual has been misusing alcohol for the whole year prior to the intervention starting. For Sarah, there's not been any indication that she has misused alcohol, therefore we can tick that this section is not applicable. Similar to alcohol misuse, there is drugs misuse, which refers to the number of months whereby the individual has misused non-prescription drugs, impacting on the family functioning. Again, for Sarah, there's not been any indication that she has misused non-prescription drugs, therefore we can tick that this section is not applicable. The next indicator refers to the number of months that 16 to 24-year-old is not in education, employment or training. Sarah has been NEET for 2 years, therefore this would be shown on the toolkit as follows. Between October 2014 and December 2014, there were 3 months. January 2015 and March 2015, again 3 months. April 2015 to June 2015, 3 months. And finally, July 2015 and September 2015, 3 months. This therefore shows that for the year prior to the intervention starting, Sarah was NEET every month. The next tab is Missing from Education, which refers to the number of months that an individual has been missing from school. For example, a child waiting for a placement at a special school but is not currently attending a mainstream school will be included in Missing from Education. Sarah's Missing from Education has been counted in the NEAT indicator, therefore the information does not need to be included. We can therefore tick Not Applicable. The final indicator is for mental health, but it's important to remember with this indicator that it refers to the number of months that an individual has received support, therefore does not include cases whereby they are not receiving any support or have been referred to another service. Sarah has suffered from anxiety and depression for many years, however has never received any support. Therefore, for the start data, it would indicate that it's not applicable for the individual. However, it is important to remember that support for mental health would likely be picked up when completing the data at the end of the intervention. At this point, we have gone through all indicators for Sarah. Therefore, it is important to repeat this process for all other family members. Therefore, by clicking Save and select another individual, you will see the name box is clear and you can then select the next family member. Once you've completed this for all family members, you can then select Save and Exit, which will return you to the overview screen. When going back into the individual data screen, you can review all information previously entered for Sarah. At this point, all individual data has been entered. Thank you for watching our instructional video on how to input the individual data. Contact details are on screen if you require further support or guidance.